What's up YouTube, Honeybee here with another IPS points breakdown now that EVO is over and we're one step closer to finding out who is going to qualify for IPS finals. For those of you that haven't really been keeping track with this type of stuff, Injustice Pro Series is doing a Season 2 right now for basically a Pro Series where the top 12 players from all these major tournaments qualify for the finals. You get points by just placing really well in these tournaments. As you can see on here, this is the Injustice esports website where you can actually see all the events that are included in this, as well as 4 people that qualify through other means. 1 person from Europe, 1 person from Latin America, 1 person from Canada, and there's also a last chance qualifier. So we'll have a full top 16 bracket once this thing is all said and done. But right now we are past these tournaments here, and we're actually going into the final stretch, which is going to be an online European tournament, an online North America East tournament, and SoCal regionals as far as the events left to get points for the Pro Series. So with that said, on the left here is the points before EVO, and here we have the points after EVO. I'm not sure exactly who created this. I saw it on like Gross's Twitter page. I will note that here we have Big D with 105 points. I'm not sure if that's accurate because I was looking at like the pre-EVO stuff, and Big D wasn't even listed here with 5 points, and he got 4th. So if he did have 5 points and he got 4th, he'd have 105. If he didn't have any points, which what it seems like is the situation here, then he'd have a total of 100 points on 105. But so whether or not he has 100 or 105, I'm not completely sure. I think he only has 100, and maybe they got this wrong, whoever made this. But I double checked all the numbers for everything else, and that all makes sense. So with that said, let's get into it with the people. I believe whoever made this made these names in green because they're probably 100% guaranteed, I think, and there's like absolutely no way that they can't make it. So Tweety getting second at EVO, he went from 410 points up to 570 points, so he's leading the pack pretty decisively right now. The only person anywhere close to him right now is my brother Biohazard, who got 7th at EVO, was the point leader beforehand, and now he's at 495 points. So Tweety is above Bio by 75 points. Assuming they both go to SCR, Bio would need to outplace Tweety quite a bit in order to be the #1 seed, but for those of you that don't know, it seems like the #1 seed might actually not be a favorable position when it comes to the finals, simply because the #1 seed is most likely to fight the last chance qualifier. We'll get into what that means and who the potential people would be for last chance qualifier, but generally speaking, you don't want to fight the last chance qualifier because they're usually a really strong opponent. Whereas like they would be the 16th seed, so first seed would fight 16th seed, but the 15th seed or the 14th seed would probably be someone from Europe or Latin America, which from what we've seen in the past probably won't be as strong as last chance qualifier. So being the #1 seed might not be favorable, but hey, like Tweety's doing really well, so there's a reason he's the #1 seed right now. He got 1st at Combo Breaker, 2nd at EVO, and 2nd at CDO, so he's been doing really well. So he is the #1 seed pretty decisively at this point. After Bio is Rewind, who actually won EVO. He was actually sitting right down here in 9th seed with 105 points, and winning EVO shot him all the way up to 3rd seed. So he's definitely guaranteed, as well as Samij, who ended up getting 5th at EVO, I believe, and Sonic Fox, who got 3rd at EVO. So the 5 of these guys, I would say, are definitely qualified. As far as seeding wise though, what's interesting is that Rewind, Samij, and Sonic Fox, they're all quite close in terms of points. 10 points only separates Rewind, Samij, and only 15 points separates Samij and Sonic Fox. So based on how Samij and Sonic Fox do in the online NA East, which is supposed to happen before SoCal Regionals, they're probably going to end up passing Rewind, I would say. As long as they both make the top 8, which is very likely, they would move Rewind down to 5th seed. He might, like, Sonic Fox may or may not compete though in the online NAs thing. I feel like he probably would, but like I know he doesn't play Injustice 2 nearly as much anymore. He's been going very hard in Dragon Ball. He won EVO for Dragon Ball, so Sonic Fox is definitely like a Dragon Ball main at this point. So I don't know if he's actually going to enter the online NA East, but I kind of think he will. There is some money in there, so yeah, he might still enter anyways. After that, we have Gross, who got 9th at EVO. He previously was the 4th seed, and he got moved down to the 6th seed. Got an extra 25 points for 9th. Hayate got 5th at EVO, so he used to be 6th, and now he's actually 7th. So he actually got 5th at EVO, but somehow went down a seed. And that's kind of what happens when you have people that were significantly below you do so well, like Rewind. So that kind of just pushed him down a bit. And I was previously tied with Sonic Fox at 5th, but I didn't do so well at EVO. I ended up getting 13th place because I lost to Big D, who got 4th, and then I was making a little bit of a loser's run there, and I lost to Buffalo in top 16. So I ended up getting 13th, and I got 10 points for that. So right now, this is like the top 8 in points, where I round that out in the 8th spot. And then right after that is Scar, who also got 13th place at EVO, Nubcakes, who got 17th place at EVO, Silvereye, who actually, he was right here. He wasn't actually 13th. These numbers aren't correct. This is like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Silvereye was actually 16th in the ranks, because yeah, these numbers aren't correct. So he was 16th with 80 points. He ended up getting 7th at EVO. So he made top 8 and he got 7th and got an extra 45 points. So that moves him from 16th up to 11th place. Now 11th place for Silvereye is currently in the top 12, but it's a very, very shaky position. Same thing for Tekken Master, who he was actually right here in the top 12, tied with Gunsho and Mantis. He ended up getting 13th as well, so he only got an extra 10 points, so he's right on the bubble of the top 12. And then you have Big D, who it says 105 points here. I'm not completely convinced he has 105. I think he might have 100. He would be here potentially tied with Gunsho and Mantis, who didn't go to EVO. Happy Pal, who didn't go to EVO. White Boy, who got 17th. Deoxys, who got 17th. King got 17th. And I think Katana Prime got 33rd, so he actually didn't get any points for EVO. So that would round out like the top 20 right now of what's happening. As far as my predictions go, or what it seems like, I would say that anything in the 8 and above is probably guaranteed. So 5th and above is definitely guaranteed, I think, whereas 6 to 8 is almost certainly guaranteed. I feel like the only way all these guys would get knocked out would be if something along the lines of, like, I don't know, Big D wins SCR or something like that, and maybe like or maybe like, let's say White Boy wins SCR, and then like Big D comes, or like Gunsho comes second, Big D comes second, I don't know, Tekken Master comes third. If Silvereye comes 4th, yeah, then he would pass me. So if that happened, then these guys would all pass me, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I would be moved 1, 2, 3. Then I would still be 12th. But then, yeah, let's say if White Boy wins SCR, Big D comes second, Tekken Master 3rd, Rai 4th. If Nubcakes comes 5th, then I'm still going to be above. If Scar comes 5th, then he passes me. So then, yeah, if that happens, like White Boy wins with Big D coming 2nd, Tekken Master coming 3rd, Rai coming 4th, and let's say Scar coming 5th, that would knock me out. I don't know if I actually don't know if Hayate and Gross could even be knocked out at this point. But yeah, if that happened and I were to not make any points at SCR or the online NA East, then I think technically speaking I could get knocked out of the top 12. It's just that something like that is not likely to happen when you have people like Biohazard, Tweety, Rewind, Samij, and Sonic Fox going to these tournaments, where what tends to happen is Tweety comes top 2 and he soaks up a crap ton of points, and if that happens in itself, then it'll just take away the opportunity for all these guys below me to pass me. Yeah, if Bio does really well, Samij, Rewind, Sonic Fox, Gross, who's been doing really well, or Hayate, like if anyone above me does really well, it just means that they're taking away points from people below me that could potentially pass me. So like the odds of something like that happening are very small. Like I'm kind of in this situation right now where if I don't make IPS finals, it's something that technically could happen, but it would be very unlikely. Like it's technically possible that 12 people could pass me in 210 points, but it's very unlikely. And then the thing is, I also have an extra like backup where I have Northern Arena happening, but I guess I like if I don't win Northern Arena, then I think it might go to someone else. So yeah, like technically it's possible that I wouldn't qualify, but I think it's very unlikely for that to happen. Obviously I'm still going to be competing. I'm not 100% sure on who's going to SCR or if I'm even going to SCR, but it's definitely in my mind to go. I'm going to be looking at flight prices and all that kind of stuff. Online NA East I'll definitely be competing in. I think the interesting thing about is going to be definitely more so on outside of top 8 in points. So whether or not Scar, Nubcakes, Rye, and Tekken Master can hold their spots, or if someone like Big D, like he could compete in the online NA East competition and win points, but he's said in the past how he doesn't perform well online at all. He doesn't really like playing online that much, and he feels like he does a lot better offline. And SoCal Regionals is an event that he could go to, and if he were to make top 8, it's very likely that he could push himself into the top 12, but I'm not sure if Big D's actually going to go. Same thing for like Gunshow and Irish Mantis. I don't think they're going. I don't think Happy Pow's going to SCR either. White Boy might go. Deoxys probably will. Well, actually, will he be there? I'm not sure. He might have school or something, but I think Deoxys will be there. Forever King, I would think, would be there. Katana Prime goes to like everything, so I think he'll be there. And then we have people that are like outside of the top 20. I have some names here: Theo, Gur, Ominous, Shark Teeth, Nyx, Illusions, Slayer. All these guys are like outside top 20, where if they were to go to SCR, there's a possibility that they could make it, but they would need like really high placements, like minimum top 4 for some of them, whereas some of them it might be a minimum of top 3 or top 2 to even have a chance of qualifying. So if something like that happens, it definitely could shake things up, and I definitely could see Theo going to SCR and ending up with a top 3 finish. Same thing for someone like Gur, who he does really well. Like he's been doing really well in War of the Gods. He actually won like 1 or 2 weeks or something like that, and like he was doing really well right before IPS season 2 started. Like he got like I think top 3 or 4 or something, like no, I think top 4 at KIT, and like I think he did really well at Winter Brawl. South by Southwest he got 3rd, which was like a tournament that happened right before IPS started. So Gur was like having a lot of success like right before IPS started, but since it started, he's kind of had a little bit of like an unfortunate run, it seems, where he hasn't been able to crack top 8, and he hasn't been able to like get that many points. Right now he was at 35 points before this started, and then he ended up getting 9th at EVO, so he would be at 60 points right now. I would say someone like Gur would need a minimum of top 4 to have a chance, but a top 3 or a top 2 would be a much more solid option for him, like if he were to get that at SoCal Regionals. but he's also going to be competing in the online NA East. So he has a decent chance still, but he really needs to perform at these last two events that he can compete in order for him to make it through the IPS top 12. So that's kind of what I'm thinking when it comes to this. I feel like top 8 here is probably secure. Scar is in a good position, but the problem is that people like Scar and Nubcakes, they don't have an online tournament to compete in because they already did theirs, which was online NA West, and they got a decent amount of points. Nubcakes won it and got 100 and what was it, like, was it 125 points, I think? So like that's the reason he's in this top 12 right now, is because he won it. Scar, I think Scar did all right in it, but I can't remember exactly what place he got at this point, but Scar's doing all right. But yeah, like Silvereye, he's going to be competing in the online East, and Gur is going to be in the online East. Gunshow probably online East. So these guys are all going to be trying to get points. But then you're also going to have people like Tweety, Biohazard, Rewind, Samij, Sonic Fox, Gross, Hayate, myself. Like the top 8 right now in the Pro Series is all going to be competing in the online NA East because we're all in that region. So we could potentially just prevent people like Silvereye or Gunshow or Gur from getting the points that they would need, or Forever King from getting those points, because we're all going to be competing as well, because there is some money in it. Maybe we want just to get more points for to make our seed better, or maybe I want to get some YouTube content to put on my channel. I don't know. So we're going to be competing in those. I think Tekken Master is kind of in a situation where I know like the Middle East really wants to compete in the online EU thing, but I don't really know at this point if they can. I've heard things of like Middle East is allowed to, now they can't, now they can, now they can't. So I don't know if Middle East can compete. I think if Middle East is allowed to compete in the online EU thing, then Tekken Master most likely will secure his spot. But if he can't, then it's very, very possible that he won't be able to qualify, because then he would basically have to go to SCR and he would have to place like top 8 minimum to have a chance. So Tekken Master is really in a rough spot right now, where it's like, if I was him, I would really, really hope he can compete in this. But like, I know there's like a whole lot of stuff surrounding that with like connection issues and such and so forth. Mantis is one of these guys where I'm sure he'd prefer Tekken Master not to compete, because then that means Mantis can compete in the online EU thing and he would have a very good chance of winning it, at which point he could actually bump himself up an extra 125 points, be at 225, and he could actually pass me in points if Mantis were to win it. So if Mantis can win it, I think he'll be in a very, very good position actually to qualify for IPS finals. Same thing goes for Happy Pal, where if either of these two guys win the online European thing, I think they'll qualify. If Tekken Master is allowed to compete and he wins, then he'll definitely qualify. That's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of that. I don't know if like the thing is, if someone like Foxy or Dizzy competes in the online European thing and wins, they could actually end up just preventing a European from competing, because right now Dizzy, like, he was at 25 points before this whole thing started, before EVO started, and I think at EVO he ended up getting like, I don't know exactly, 17, 25, something like that. He didn't get a lot of points, so he's like maybe at 30 points right now. If he were to win it and go up to 155, that would be like a really good position for him, but it definitely wouldn't be guaranteed. It would be very possible for people to still pass him. So if someone like Dizzy or someone like Foxy, where's Foxy? He's at 30 points. So like Dizzy and Foxy are kind of like in the same boat, where like they could win the online European tournament, but if they were to win, it would prevent someone like Mantis or Happy Pal from winning, and then it could potentially mean that no Europeans make it into the IPS finals, and then it would only maybe be one from whatever European program is supposed to happen here that still hasn't. I don't know anything about what's happening with that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. I feel like for a European to definitely qualify through the Injustice top 12, I would say that either Happy Pal or Mantis needs to win the online EU thing. Other than that, let's move on. This is what we're looking at in terms of like who's gonna make it and whatever. White Boy, Deoxys, like they're all like outside of that right now. Gur outside of that. I think most likely speaking, these guys are gonna have to go through last chance at this point unless they have a really good showing at SCR. Last chance happens in October at some point. And let's touch back on what I was saying is people don't want to be the #1 seed because most likely they're gonna have to. The #1 seed is most likely gonna have to fight the 16th seed, which would be the last chance qualifier. The last person that ends up making it into the top 16 would most likely be the 16th seed, meaning they would fight the first seed. So people like White Boy or Deoxys or Forever King, Gur, Theo, like Nyx, these are guys that are very possibly gonna qualify through the last chance. Maybe even Big D, maybe Illusions, maybe Slayer. I don't know, maybe Shark Teeth, maybe even Tekken Master if he doesn't qualify through those means. Like it's very possible that these guys would go to the Injustice Last Chance tournament and qualify through there. So these are all like really strong people that definitely could beat Tweety if Tweety is the first seed, and that is kind of a scary position to be in. Whereas let's say you're the second seed like Bio, and instead of fighting the last chance qualifier, you actually end up having to fight the person that qualifies through Latin America or the person that qualifies through the European program. If that's the case, then whoever's qualifying through Latin America, most likely Hey George, or potentially Killer Shinnok, they're like quote unquote not as scary to fight as someone like I don't know, Deoxys or Gur, because these guys would probably be coming through last chance. Same thing for the European League thing. Is like Mantis could qualify through the European League, or like I don't know, Happy Pow or Dizzy or something like that, and technically they're not as scary to fight as someone that could potentially make it through last chance. So that's kind of the reason why you don't really want to be the first seed, but you know, at this rate, Tweety's most likely gonna remain in that position unless, like, for one thing, maybe he doesn't go to SCR. But if he doesn't go to SCR, Bio needs like a top 4 to pass him. Like Tweety could choose not to go to SCR, Bio could go and get 5th, and Tweety will still be the #1 seed. But then maybe if like Rewind goes and wins that too or something, or Samij wins SCR, then yeah, they would pass him. But yeah, I think Tweety would probably go to SCR. It's still in his best interest because he's been doing so well that like if he gets another top 2 at SCR, he gets like another like anywhere from 2.5 to $6,000 or $7,000 if he wins. So like that's still probably worth it, I would say. So that's kind of my breakdown. What's happening next up in terms of tournaments is probably going to be the online EU thing. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that and whether or not Middle East can compete, because that will definitely have an effect on what happens with this whole Pro Series. So thanks for watching the video, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.